Hey guys, this is Austin, and this is one of the thinnest and most powerful laptops you can buy. This is the HP Spectre X360, and huge shout out to HP for sponsoring this video. So if we open up the second box, which I've got to say is actually really nicely done, we have the laptop itself. I'm actually curious, is this real aluminum? It looks like it. Oh yeah, that's real metal. I actually like the brushed metal finish on the side here. The entire laptop feels very sturdy considering how thin it is. Also included in the box is the HP Active Stylus. So the idea here is that not only do you have the sort of flexibility that you get with being able to flip the screen around, but it also does have what hopefully should be a pretty decent stylus that comes in the box. I really do like the way this computer looks. Having an aluminum chassis and pretty much aluminum everywhere you look and touch feels nice. And also having something like a glass trackpad really does make it feel like a much more premium product. In addition to the pair of Thunderbolt 3 ports, you also have a fingerprint sensor on the side, you got the volume rocker, and on the flip side, not only do we have a standard full-size USB port, but you also get the headphone jack, power button, as well as a micro SD card slot. This really is thin. So something that keeps jumping out to me is that the thickest part of the chassis is only barely thick enough to actually support a full-size USB port. The new Spectre X360 starts at $1,150, but the model I have here is $1,250 and comes with a Core i7-8550U, 8 GB of RAM, and a 256 GB SSD. Because this guy is running the new 8th gen processors, it really does transform it from being a normal Ultrabook to something that feels a lot faster. One of my big issues with previous thin and light laptops was that while they had great battery life, performance was just decent. However, with these new 8th gen processors that have a quad-core chip inside, it actually makes a huge difference to how fast these things feel. Especially when you're doing stuff like heavy multitasking, it absolutely can keep up with a desktop, but you're still getting the great battery life that you would expect out of an Ultrabook. And you can absolutely see that in the benchmarks. In Geekbench, not only does this completely destroy last generation Core i5s and i7s, but it really is just not that far off from higher-end gaming laptops as well as desktops. If you need even more, this guy is available with up to 16 gigs of RAM and a 1 TB SSD, and if you opt for the 15-inch version of the X360, it also has dedicated NVIDIA MX150 graphics. This version of the Spectre X360 comes with a 13.3-inch 1080p IPS display covered in Gorilla Glass, but there is also a 4K option. Now, I'm sure the 4K looks great, but I've actually got to say the 1080p is not bad either. And personally, especially on a 13-inch laptop, I kind of prefer 1080p as a nice sweet spot between screen resolution as well as battery life. As far as the battery goes, the X360 has a 60 watt-hour battery, which combined with the 8th gen processor and 1080p display, means that getting through a full day of use without the charger shouldn't be too difficult. So HP claims that you can get up to 16 hours of battery on a charge, and that combined with the fast charging power adapter means the battery life really isn't a problem with this guy. When it comes to a Windows 10 laptop, a touchscreen really is the way to go. So a lot of the time I use the keyboard and trackpad, but so often it's just helpful to be able to reach up and touch the screen. Now, because this is the X360 version of the Spectre, we also have a fully adjustable display. So we can flip it around to use it in display mode. You also can flip it upside down and use it in tent mode. And because this is such a thin and light laptop, you can use it in tablet mode. Most of the time when it comes to a 13-inch laptop, a tablet mode isn't too useful, but because this guy is so thin and light, it actually works pretty well here. And that is especially helpful when you use the HP Pen. I am by no means an artist, but I've got to say that doodling with the pen is actually pretty fun. Now, of course, you can use it for more serious stuff than coloring, sketching. Stuff like notes would be really helpful here, but it's definitely a nice thing to have included with the laptop. The rest of the input is pretty good as well. So the keyboard has great travel, it has good spacing, I like the backlighting. The only thing that slightly tripped me up was the home, page up and page down keys on the right side of the keyboard, but once I got used to that, it's no problem. Now the trackpad is decent. So hardware-wise, it does have a glass surface, and the tracking is pretty smooth. However, the problem is it doesn't have Windows Precision drivers. Something that really jumps out to me is the audio. Now this has a set of Bang & Olufsen speakers, and a lot of the time branding doesn't make a huge difference on a laptop, but this guy is rocking a full 4-speaker setup. Dude, that is really good. So not only is there a fair bit of bass, but there's just a ton of volume, and it really doesn't distort either.
The Spectre also has a 1080p webcam. Now you guys can judge the quality for yourselves. I think it's fine for a video call, but you probably won't want to start a new YouTube channel with it.
The Spectre has support for Windows Hello with both a fingerprint sensor as well as an IR camera for facial recognition. Now I actually really do like the fingerprint sensor, and while it is a little bit odd to have it on the side of the device, it's much preferable to not having a fingerprint sensor at all. You know, like a certain $1,000 phone or something. With Windows 10 on board, there's also Cortana support. What is the meaning of life?
I've heard from a reliable source that the answer is 42.
I've liked portable laptops like the Spectre X360 for a long time, but now that you can get quad-core power while still keeping the battery life, it makes them so much more attractive. Again, big shout out to HP for making this video possible. If you guys want to check out the Spectre X360, the link will be in the description. You should also check out the Holidays Unboxed channel over at youtube.com/unboxed, where you can find some of the latest and greatest unboxings this holiday season. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.